Hello there, it's Derp here. So yeah, welcome back to another video of Path of Exile builds, and this is my build for the Blight League, and not exactly an original idea, but I did build it myself instead of following a build guide entirely. So yeah, I'm gonna share my progression and stuff. And this is one of my most successful, this is the most successful build of my Path of Exile gameplay ever. Like, it has the defense, as you can see. I have basically 8000 effective HP, and the damage is also more than the Poison Pathfinder I did a few lists back, because it's all front-loaded damage. I don't even need to ramp it up, and it already surpasses the damn DPS of that Poison Pathfinder build. So, and that build is not even my original build. So basically, this is a cast on crit crossbreed build, and my original plan is just a cast on crit Ice Nova crossbreed. So my progression is that I use Freeze Pulse and Ice Nova to level up with the help of Lightning Spire Trap for bosses, and I grab the crit nodes all the way to Doomcast, start from Shadow, and as you can see, as you may know, lower level crit is not that effective. So the early game is not exactly the smoothest, but it's fine because Freeze Pulse and Ice Nova are not bad spells. But as soon as I get to level 44, I grab myself Widowmaker, which has 8% base crit and it's just 1 chaos. On the first few days, it's very cheap, and I started using cast on crit, and my link was Cyclone, cast on crit, Ice Nova, and Cold Penetration. And that's got me started really well as soon as I get the Widowmaker, because basically I basically double my cast speed with cast on crit, and cast on crit also gives you some spell damage on trigger too. So the damage is fine. Again, with the Lightning Spire Trap, the whole process is smooth as hell. So, and then I do lab. Firstly, you want Unstable Infusion, so you get Power Charge Generation and more crit for your cast on crit. And then when you get to level 55 or 60 something, you can get Deadly Infusion from even more crit. So right now your damage should be enough already for white maps after you get Deadly Infusion. So yeah. Basically, the entire leveling process is just the first 40 level or so. It's a little bit slow, but as soon as you get the Widowmaker and start cast on crit, the damage is totally fine. So after that, you're gonna travel left to grab the nodes over the left side and the damage over the left side and the AoE on the left side, and then you're gonna grab all the life nodes here. And then finally, when you get to maps, you can fill out your power charges and stuff on the top and the right side. That's the skill tree. And obviously the third ascendancy, I go for the Mistwalker, not because of the elusive buff is, it helps, but it's not that powerful. But the main reason we take this is because you get 20% attack speed, 8% reduced damage taken, and you're immune to crit. So your Mistwalker is gonna be up all the time as long as you're hitting the enemy, because you have 50% chance to gain elusive. So as long as you have elusive, even though if you only have 5% effect of the elusive, you're still getting all the bonuses. So this is up 99% of the time. So you get all the free bonuses from this. And then finally, I grab Opportunistic, because you get 20% more damage out of nowhere, unless there's 2 or more rare monsters rare or unique monsters nearby, which is really rare. I think even in the Uber Elder fight, they are not stacking up on each other that much. So you're gonna have the 20% more damage most of the time, and you get the movement speed to help with your Cyclone, and then you have immune to reflect if you are critting. So this enables you to run reflect maps, but you need to go slow because there's still a chance for your spell to not get crit. And then if you're like me using a volatile anomaly, Mark of the Shaper, or if you're using Ice Nova or other spells on your Corpse, they may not always crit. Your main link can achieve 95 to 100 crit, but the other spells on you may not be always critting. So you need to go slow even with this opportunistic note. You still need to go slow in the early reflect maps. You cannot just blow up the entire pack of 50 monsters. You need to kill like 20 or something. So even if you don't crit, you don't kill yourself instantly. And thanks to the Watcher's Eye, Discipline Watcher's Eye, I can get back my energy shield effectively, and I had around 6k life too. So with the life leech from one of my cosplays, the life is also regenerating well, and I also have not impressive but 200 life regen, not too bad. So yeah, so for the auras, I level with Herald of Ice and Precision, and then later grab Hatred too. And after I get my Horse Breeze, I felt like I have enough damage, so I get rid of Hatred and use Discipline together with the Watcher's Eye later when I get the money. But basically, your progression will be get a Widowmaker when you get to level 44, and then the next gear you want is when you get a map. When you're farming white maps, you should be able to farm up yourself money to grab a Corpse. Also note that you can just buy a Corpse with the lowest possible attack speed. For my setup, you can work with 8% or 9% attack speed. If you go higher, you cannot. You are having too high of attack speed, so you don't trigger cast on crit effectively, because you want your cooldown recovery speed to be faster than your attack speed. So every single attack can trigger your spells. So you want low attack speed, which also means the Corpse will be a lot cheaper than say 12% or 13% attack speed Corpse. So the only stat you want on it is the cold damage with spells. You want as much of it as possible, and then a slow attack speed one. So it's way cheaper. It's like half the price of the faster attack speed Corpse. And after you get the Corpse, I was going for Ice Nova, Frostbolt, and Life Leech, combined with the Frozen Trail unique jewel, which allows you to shoot out Frostbolt when you are cycloning on top of the enemy. And if you have, as long as you have 2 or more Frostbolt projectiles out, your Ice Nova is gonna cast twice on 2 of them. Basically means it doubles your damage. So it's a huge damage spike for your build, because it basically doubles your damage as soon as you get the Frostbolt and Frozen Trail combo. And I use Life Leech because, again, I've already felt like I have enough damage, so I use Life Leech for more survivability. So the next piece of gear you want to look for is, obviously you would want a Lacoste, because you may not have enough accuracy. You probably won't have enough accuracy, to be honest. So Lacoste will help with your accuracy to help your proc a lot more consistent, and because the base crit of Corpse is not as high as the Widowmaker. You may want the Lacoste to help with your prop, and obviously also you would want to grab more crit nodes here and there, and maybe your gear and stuff, so it helps with your proc rate. And then the cosplay, Lacoste, and then the third piece of gear will be Pandemonious. Because for obvious reasons, for penetration and for defensively you have blind, and also you need the dex. You really need the dex, and when you're leveling, if you do not have enough dex, maybe you can grab this dex here or grab this dex here or something like that. But yeah, you want to look for dex on your gear, and Pandemonious is just the best in slot, because it gives you dex, it gives you cold damage, it gives you blind for defensive purposes, and you give penetration. And after that you can allocate a passive using oils, unless they remove it next league, then well. If they remove it next league, maybe you can upgrade your core spree to a 10% or something, faster attack speed core spree, to fix your problem. But what I did is just grab this versatility node, or if you have attack speed on your other gear, you can grab that perception here, which again give you crit, give you dex, give you accuracy, which is all you really want, but is too far away from our main skill points. So that's about the reason why we want to fix our amulet slot first, because this is the end game slot, so you can just spend your oil on it without worrying wasting your money. And then the next piece of gear you may want to have, since you grab the accuracy and maybe level up your precision and ice golem enough, you may want a second cosplay. The reason you can roll with just one cosplay with Lacoste, it could work, but the reason why I get the second cosplay is because I'm lazy. So I really don't like to cast all the spell on my own end. It just felt like it's really slow. So I just grab a second cosplay and chuck in. And then I swap in Ice Nova with Elemental Focus with the Life Leech for the health recovery. And then I put Frostbolt, Frostbite, and Frostbomb on my second cosplay. So from what I understand, the first crit will trigger the main setups, Ice Nova, and then together with the Frostbolt. And the second crit will trigger the Ice Nova and the secondary Ice Nova. The third hit is gonna trigger Frostbite and the Ice Nova. Fourth is gonna trigger double Ice Nova, and then the fifth hit is gonna trigger Frostbomb and the main setup Ice Nova. And then the sixth hit will be double Ice Nova again, and the cycle is gonna repeat itself. As from my understanding, this is what it would work, and in practice I can see all spells is being cast, so this setup guarantees all the spell socketed to cast. So you debuff the enemy with Frostbomb and Frostbite together with the Frostbolt, so it allows both of your Ice Nova to deal double damage because they cast twice on two of the Ice Bolts. So this is my setup. If you rather one with one cosplay or don't have the budget yet, just do Frostbolt, Ice Nova, and Life Leech. But if you get the second cosplay, you want to start looking for accuracy items. And when you get to level 68 or get to maps, you can just grab a Star Conjure. You get attack speed, you got life, and you got dex, the most important thing. Which should allow you to drop the dex nodes from the tree and still use the cosplays. But and then after you get the Star Conjure for the dex, you can start crafting a cooldown belt. and maybe buy a 5-link chess piece and throw some essence on it. 5 links should be like a few chaos, just a few chaos even at lead starts. So just throw some essence or fossils on it until you get good amount of life for a 5-link chess piece. And then you want to start crafting your belt. I choose crystal belt because I was thinking it's difficult for me to go through 6,000, much more than 6,000 life. So the only way for me to get more EXP is for me to get more energy shield, and I do have some energy shield nodes already, so I decided that hey, maybe I should just drop my hatred, because again I have enough damage. So I drop my hatred and use discipline, and then I start craft with my crystal belt. The only mod the major mod you want to look for is cold damage, life, and cooldown recovery speed, 3 mods, and any others will be bonus. Obviously you can also craft with the elemental fossil, I think what it's called, yeah, prismatic. So you can just use frigid fossil plus the prismatic fossils to have a chance to have both cold damage and elemental damage, but the major mod you're looking for is just the cooldown recovery speed, because with the proper attack speed on your core spree and together with versatility, you are actually only casting one Ice Nova once per 2 attacks, so you want cooldown, and if you get 14 or higher cooldown recovery speed, it actually allows you to have 1 Ice Nova cast per hit, which again doubles your damage. So the Frozen Trail doubles your damage, and then the cooldown recovery speed doubles your damage again. So at this point you're already having enough damage for endgame, so you can focus on defensive. I'm not even taking too much damage nodes on the tree. I mean, I'm going for life mostly, and I even give up the final power charge because it's not really not that much damage. It's like less than 5% more damage, and it takes like 4 points to get there, so I don't think that's worth it. So this is what my skill tree looks like, and I'm now level 93. So yeah, at this point you should have enough damage, so as soon as you get the recovery speed now you need to start looking for the helmet, because Star Conjurer's 10% attack speed actually goes through the breakpoint. Again, it would cause you to do 1 card Ice Nova per 2 attacks, so you want to drop that. So you want to start crafting your helmet. For the helmet, you want to look for the, again, frigid fossils. So what you're looking for is life, nearby enemies have -9% cold resist, and hypothermia support. That's the 3 mod you want to look for on your helmet. If you can find a helmet with enchantment, obviously that would be nice. Mana preservation of any of the auras you're using, discipline, herald eyes, or precision would be nice, because it allows you to drop the item. But I cannot get a base or with the useful enchantments, so I'm just crafting the helmet without any enchantment. So this is my helmet, but again, the result you're looking for is just life minus cold rest and hypothermia. And since you're using frigid fossil, it's not that difficult to get this combo. I also get the cold damage to spells, but it doesn't actually help that much, because the 2 core sprees is adding most of the added flat damage to the spells. So the little bit of cold damage from the helmet is actually like less than 2% damage. But yeah, that's the 3 mod you want to look for. And after that, in a perfect world, you want accuracy on the helmet, because ultimately you kind of want to get rid of your golem. Golem is just, if you can get rid of the golem, it's just a good thing to do. But I need the golem to achieve 99% hit chance. If you are fine with around 90 to 95, but it will seriously hinder your trigger rates of the Ice Nova. So I would recommend to get as much accuracy as possible. But if you get accuracy on the helmet, you can drop your Ice Golem. But I did not get it, so I'm stuck with my Ice Golem. So after the helmet, you want to start looking on the market for Fingerless Silk Gloves. Why Fingerless Silk Gloves? Firstly, it has spell damage. Secondly, you want accuracy on it, and you do not need attack speed on it. So what I mean is, this is gonna be really cheap. This is like 50 chaos. It got a lot of stacks, perfect accuracy, good amount of life, and this is 50 chaos. So what you're looking for is a Fingerless Silk Glove with accuracy, dex, life, and whatever else you may need. And then you're gonna look for Mark of the Shaper together with an Elder Ring. So the Elder Ring and the boot is gonna fill out your resistance for whatever resistance is missing. But during your gearing process, one thing to really need to keep in mind is that you need one suffix for the aspect of the spider for the end game. I guess it's not just end game, it's like a min-maxing. You want one suffix for the aspect of the spider skill. Again, this league they buff the shit out of the spawn rate of them, so it's just 12 to 15 chaos for the aspect of the spider craft. So just leave an suffix opens for the aspect of the spider skill while still filling out your resistance. So that's basically the gearing process. And as for the chest piece, you can do law with, but it will be expensive since you need the crit, you need the elemental damage, you need the max rest, and you need the life. So if you need all four of them to be decently good, it's like 4 to 5 exalts. So it's expensive. If you want a lazy option, just use the Carcass Jack like me, because it had decent energy shield and it has a lot of damage and AoE, which, yeah, it's a lazy choice. But if you want a really min-max choice, obviously you want a rare chest piece with attack crit to make you closer to 100% Cyclone crit. And then you can have a shit ton of life and maybe even more energy shield depending on your base or crafting material. But you can also craft the gain, I think, 10% life as extra energy shield. That's the most important thing if you're going for a rare chest. So you can get even more energy shield and more life if you're going for a rare chest. But if you're lazy like me, just do Carcass Jack. Yeah, that's the gear. And flask will be Wise Oak for penetration, and if you can double defend, double balance fire and lightning. Yeah, unlikely you can balance cold too, because you will get a shit ton of cold rest. But if you, in a perfect world, if you can balance all three of them, obviously perfect. But just balance fire and lightning rest with the Wise Oak, with cold resistance being higher, so you get the penetration and the damage reduction. Dino Flask again, make your Cyclone closer to 100% crit, so it trigger more Ice Nova. Every bit of crit is like more damage. So Dino Flask, it will not help your Ice Nova damage, but it will help your trigger rate of the Ice Novas. Quicksilver of Adrenaline, because you're cycloning. The final flask, I use the Drake flask because blind is good combined with evasion. But if you want, you can do Sulfide flask for even more damage and some regeneration. And very alternatively, very alternatively, or if you want to be meme a bit, you can actually use a Basalt combo with the perfect form with Arctic armor, because Cyclone actually allow you to stand still to spin nowadays. So you can actually use Arctic armor, because Arctic armor requires you to be stationary. If you really prefer that playstyle, you can use Arctic armor, perfect form, and Basalt flask combo if you really want, which will result in insane amount of evasion, because you are gonna have a shit ton of cold resistance too. So yeah, that's the gearing. So for the gem setup, again, I talk about the secondary Ice Lover setup with Life Leech. If you want mega damage, you can just drop the Life Leech for any focus or control destruction or something like that. The second core spree, like I said, Frostbolt, Frostbite, Frostbomb. Alternatively, you can put the Ice Golem in this and self-cast Frostbomb, depending on you or the mana problem you're running into. You can put Ice Golem in the core spree and self-cast Frostbomb, or just put Frostbomb in. But again, I'm lazy, so putting Frostbomb in means as soon as my Cyclone hits, my Frostbomb is gonna cast right under the enemy's feet, so I don't need to aim. So that's my option. So, and then for the helmet, since you have a hypothermia linked, you want to put the Vortex in here to boost the mana cost for a higher level of Arcane Surge. And then you have Bone Chill support with increased area. I prefer increased area other than increased duration or unbound elements, because when you are shooting out frostbolts, your Vortex is gonna target those frostbolts instead of dropping right under your feet. So I've won the easier time to put the enemy inside the chill area, so I choose increased AoE instead of increased duration or unbound elements, which allows us to make it so that the enemy takes 17% more damage, more cold damage, because thanks to the Bone Chill support. So yeah, and proc Arcane Surge, so when you're running around, cycling around, it doesn't interrupt you, you can just keep dropping vortexes. And then for the main gem setup will be Cyclone, Castle and Crit, Ice Nova, increased crit, hypothermia, and increased area. Before you get enough damage, I would recommend to run Cold Penetration, because a lot of rares actually get 75% resistant. It's not uncommon for them to get 75 resistance, so I would recommend Cold Penetration before you get enough damage. After you get enough damage, you want hypothermia, increased area, and when you are in a boss fight, you can just swap in concentrator effect and stuff. So that's the 6th link. And as for the movement skill, Withering Blaze, fast attack and fortify, and it is after they introduce animation cancel, Withering Blaze actually a lot smoother to use, because Withering Blaze is actually having a slight delay after your dash. But after they introduce animation cancel, if you hold your move button, it actually cancels the final lag of the Withering Blade, which makes Withering Blade a lot smoother and a lot faster to use. So it is way faster than Leap Slam right now. So yeah, and the mana cost is also bring down to the level of shield charge. So just use Withering Blade is just extremely fast right now. And again, Ice Golem, if you get enough accuracy, say if you have enough accuracy for your helmet or your ring, you can drop the Ice Golem and use a Steel Skin instead, which, you know, the Ice Golem is like messing you up so hard sometimes, especially in incursion rooms. Sometimes you just get the Chaos Splitter shooting at your Ice Golem and then you just get you get shot instead. So yeah, but I want as much accuracy as possible, and I do not get enough. So I need my ice. I'm stuck with my ice golem. So again, the aura is gonna be precision, hero of ice, hatred, and after you get enough damage, swap to discipline. And then for endgame, for really endgame, you either want the hammer enchant to have one of these having lower amounts of reservation. If not, you need an enlightened support. Level 3 is barely enough, but you will need mana somewhere on your gear. You either need mana somewhere on your gear, or maybe you need to grab these mana nodes here, or mana nodes here, because you need enough unreserved mana for you to. Your mana regen is enough, but you still need enough unreserved mana to actually cast your golem and vortex for a higher arcane surge prop. So you either you can fix your mana problem using your own method. You can use enlighten, you can run a lower level precision, you can run a lower level arcane surge, you can grab mana nodes on the tree, etc, etc. I craft mana on a ring, so I have barely enough. So after you fix your mana problem to have more than 25% unreserved mana, you can start crafting your Aspect of the Spider on one of your suffixes gear, but you cannot craft it on the helmet, obviously, because it will get linked with the hypothermia and increase the mana reserve. But after you grab it on here, you can, you know, start using Aspect of the Spider too, which further increase your damage. So you get 17% damage taken from the vortex, and then you get 15% from your Aspect of the Spider. So yeah, that's the gearing and progression progress. Yeah, at the end of the day, when you get to level around 93 to 95, you save around level 8000 effective HP. I mean, you can give up a few life nodes for maybe this Soul Thief, Soul Theft, or Foresight, which both give you a crap load of energy shield. Depending on you, you can drop some life nodes, or you can grab all the life nodes and then fill out your energy shield. Also depends on your gear, to if you have enough energy shield on your gear. So you can min-max it by, it's just 2-pointer here, 2-pointer here, and you can just grab these knife nodes and or drop some of them. So to balance out your maximize your effective HP. So that's basically the build. And yeah, let's maybe look at the build in action. So this is 45% extra life, Forge of the Phoenix map. Yes, you can see there's not a lot of enemy actually get to attack you.
That was fun.
And AoE is pretty damn nice, as you can see. Most of the enemies are frozen, or just dies before they can do anything. So yeah, most of the time you don't even need your vortex, and sometimes the vortex can kill the pack. Like, yeah, the vortex alone, as you can see, the vortex alone is enough to kill the white pack, some white packs. Let's do the Blight encounter. you have enough damage to just ignore most of the the stuff here.
Put out, you mycelium! Oh,
And you can use the Vow Ice Nova once in a while to chain reaction and clear out the entire lane. But just be careful not to stand in their way for too long because they do a lot of damage, and if you stand in their way, they are actually gonna start attacking you. And again, Vow Ice Nova just clear out the entire lane. Oh, I accidentally let a few across.
you're making me nervous!
Yeah, that is a bad play of me. You really don't want to stand in their way to cast Ice Nova because you don't have a lot of cast speed. You really don't have a lot of cast speed, so you don't want to stand in their way to cast the Ice Nova, Vow Ice Nova, because your cast speed is garbage. So yeah, as you can see, oh, Monolith 2, lucky me. And you can just do that, and it will blow up most of the white mobs. Yeah, it blows up most of the white mobs. As you can see, the damage is really nice, and thanks to the Watcher's Eye, you regenerate your life and energy shield pretty quickly. I mean, yeah, it's just showing you the damage and stuff, so I did not really fully clear that. Yeah, let's just do the Phoenix. Yeah, that's 47% health Phoenix, and as you can see, the damage and clear is very nice, and you have 8,000 life with less damage taken, immune to crit and stuff. So, and you have blind and evasion. So both offensive and defensive ability is pretty damn nice for this build. So I would say this is my most effective build thus far. The most effective builds I've played thus far. So I would totally recommend, and this is, you can totally start with this, and none of the pieces is extremely expensive. Maybe you need, depending on your luck, maybe you need, yeah, the belt is the most costly piece of gear for me because I use like 4 exalts before I land this, the flea mods. So any other piece is like 1 exalt or less, and even the boots, for some reason the guy is selling for 15 chaos for this boot. I don't know why he'd sell it that low, but even if you buy it at a normal price, this boot is like 1 to 1.5 exalts, and this one is 50C. Mark of the Shaper is not expensive at all. This one is 50C. Yeah, Pandemonius is 4 exalts, I think. This is the Pandemonius could be expensive and stuff, but even the Watcher's Eye is like 1 exalt. But you don't need the precision flash charge mod because turns out it has a 0.2 second cooldown, so at most you get 5 charge every second. So that's not exactly that helpful. So the only mod you want is the energy shield gain when affected by discipline. So as you can see, even if I drop my energy shield by taking damage, I basically instantly get back to full energy shield, and then the life leech will help keeping my life up. And I'm also using the Pantheon to have additional physical reduction together with movement speeds and extra life if you're low life, extra life recovery if you're low life. So that's the setup. And yeah, I think that's about it for the build. Later I may also upload the other Guardian fights and stuff to show you the build against endgame enemies. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video then. Totally recommend. This is a nice build. So thank you for joining, and I'm gonna see you next time. Until then, have a nice day. Goodbye.